Hi everyone, it's another video. It's Friday night and it's been crazy. I mean, like, I feel like I'm doing so many videos these days, but like so much stuff is going on, and I really feel that we are. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like spooky, that video or something, but I really, really feel that we might be in the end times. And so I feel like, honestly, seriously, I feel like in the last days, like, the dark side just tries every trick, like every possible trick, everything. Like, it's just ridiculous. And I was so lucky. I mean, the thing is, honestly, like, one of the biggest temptations in this world is still the fleshly sin. So let's say having sexual intercourse, for example, without the coverage of marriage, is really that sin which really causes you to fall down or to lose track. But like, the interesting thing is, as far as we live in the Western world here, it's totally normal that young girls, it's so interesting sometimes when I see on YouTube like certain videos, especially coming from the US. I'm living in Europe here, but I'm observing kind of the same trend here, that the little girls already, they dress up in such a hot way, so to say, with like hot pants, and the shirts are like with the belly free and everything. And I mean, of course, because this is like the way they see it, in series, in sports, or like everywhere, all over the media, they see this kind of style, and they think this is the way they should dress up. And the young girls, like, I mean, it's really a sad tendency, because I feel they really make up their worth by the way they look like. I mean, even when I was, yeah, even back in the like 90s and beginning of the 2000s, when I was a teenager, obviously I also wanted to look okay. This is just, if you get positive feedback, then you think, okay, this is my value, this is how I'm supposed to be, and I should look that certain way. And but the problem is, you really identify yourself like so much with a sexuality. And also in the last time, I mean, I experienced some social pressure to go to this kind of pride parade. We had recently this like huge gay parade here in the city, and everyone would just go there, and saying, oh yeah, we should be open to everyone, and we should support everyone in the free choice of sexuality, tralala. But like, I feel like this society is so over sexually stimulated, and especially like these like gay people. And okay, some people say, okay, because now they can actually open up about their true feelings, tralala. But I feel there are a lot of broken people who try to find their identity in some kind of sexual orientation. It's all about sexual orientation and about looking sexual, about this magical sexual attraction between two people, and it's always about that. It's like so much focus on sexual stuff, and this is not godly at all. This is just so worldly, and it's getting worse and worse. And honestly, I reached a point where I was just being tired of, the dark side trying to tempt me with like sexual vibes and stuff, because I mean, I experienced really in the last time, like, the problem is, God had to teach me, because I was also raised in this wrong mindset. When I was in my 20s, I dressed up. I mean, oh my God, I mean, like, I went out and I dressed up like the world, what I'm saying. And so I was one of these kids, or like women who identified themselves, with the way they look, the way they dress. So I was really dependent on that also, to make up my kind of self-confidence, which I thought would be self-confidence, which was actually a lie. And but okay, so I'm just saying I also went through this, you know, and now it was like so hard for me because like God, like the more I prayed and the more holy I became, the more God led me away, you know, from this way of dressing, like, and he drove me more towards modesty, like a modest look, which I love now. I totally resonate with this modest look, and I feel so much more human and so much more, yeah, like a true being. You know what I'm saying? And not just like a you pretend to be like this and then everyone likes you. Okay, no, it's just not like this. And you get to know yourself even through the way you dress. It's so crazy. And I mean, I recently watched videos where they say, I mean, I'm not really an expert about like marine kingdom and stuff, you know, but I watched some like Christian documentaries and some people who had actually some experience with some kind of marine spirits and demonic entities from this like water kingdom, whatever. And I'm not really sure how I relate to this, but they actually say in these teachings that that these kind of dresses, like that that they basically contain something like a demonic connection. So as soon as you put on your hot pants, something just changes, something takes over you. And I honestly, I can relate to that, because like in the past when I was dressing up like this, I was behaving another way. I was behaving more, you know, into thoughts, okay, I'm driving others into temptation. So I really, but I'm not like this. I'm not like, it was just not me. It was something else taking over me. And so maybe it's really true, because as soon as I started dressing modest, I can feel myself. I can actually get to know myself. It's so interesting. And also, like, God urged me into removing makeup, and I don't wear jewelry anymore at all. So I threw away my jewelry, and I even gave back. I did something like a really funny thing. I mean, I like one of my golden chains had actually something like a pearl, which looked like taken from the sea. And I actually went to the seaside and I threw it back, and I said, "Here, see, you can have it back. I don't need your pearl around my neck. I don't need that." And so I threw out my jewelry, and I threw away my makeup. And this process of not wearing makeup anymore, guys, this was just so hard. It was so hard, especially going to work without makeup, guys. This was such a big thing for me. I mean, and God saw how much I was struggling, but in the end, he really appreciated me giving it up, because it was such a hard thing, and I gave it also as a sacrifice to the Lord, you know, and the Lord blessed me, gave me some blessings back, and in the way that I'm now experiencing my own self, who I actually am. And whoa. And without that mask, guys, I mean, at the beginning it's hard, because I was like so addicted to makeup. Like in the first time when I tried to not go out without makeup, I had a backup makeup bag in my backpack, you know, just in case that if I cannot make it, that I can run to the restroom and put on the makeup again, you know. I was so addicted to makeup, guys. It's so bad. I mean, and now I threw away the backup makeup bag. I threw it away. I don't need it anymore. And I'm and but still I felt that it's so interesting. Like the more I get away from this sexual orientation of the world, because I really had this kind of so I just wanted to experience who I am without sexuality. Because you would not believe how much you identify yourself with your appearance and with your gender and with, you know, all that stuff, whether you are heterosexual or whatever, you know. So you identify yourself like so much with this, and I just wanted to get to know, okay, who am I, you know. And so I really wanted to take a break from all this kind of worldly stuff and also lust in the flesh, you know. And so but it was actually really hard because I felt my whole environment kind of tuned up in a way that I'm sexually manipulated. It's like so crazy. It's really the more I dressed modest and the more I left the jewelry, or I threw it away, I didn't wear it anymore, the more I didn't wear makeup anymore, the more I felt the dark side tries to lure me back into this stuff, you know, by either people dressing up and you know, being presented in front of my eyes, or like having beautiful jewelry or whatever. I really felt that. I was like, I mean, what is going on, you know? And but I still try to. I'm still on my track, you know. But like recently, I was being tempted so bad, like by various people. I felt and it's not. It's at the moment. I mean, the people, they know that I'm not really into dating or something, but still, because I said, okay, I want to take a break. I just want to find back to myself. I want to know who I am and what is this all about, you know? And I really became modest, and the problem is I'm living, as I said, in an environment where people, you know, they would have sex without coverage of marriage, you know, they would even have sex without a relationship, you know, and so like even some Christians, you know, here they are like this, you know, and even in my last church, I don't go to this church anymore, but in my last church where I went to, they told me, oh, you don't need to be so moral and you know, and I was just feeling like God told me twice, leave that church, it's a fake church. And the first time I didn't listen to God, I still went to the church because I just wanted to have a community. I didn't want to be alone. But then the second time, God really said, it's over, don't go there anymore. And even one guy followed up so strongly on me. And then the second guy, but all in a sexual way, and you can really feel it if somebody. Now I can distinguish if somebody is just after you because of your flesh, or whether somebody is really truly interested in who you are. And like, let's say, for example, for the women out there, like, let's say a man, you know, if he's really into you, or let's say if he's your God ordained spouse, he will try to follow up on you, but in another way, in a modest way. And in the past, I mean, I had really problems to distinguish when somebody just likes me, as you know, in terms of the flesh, or whether somebody is really interested in my character. I could not distinguish because I didn't know who I was, because I was defining myself too much through my appearance or whatever, you know. And so I really felt such a strong need, and I fasted and I prayed over the weekend, where people went to the Pride Parade, you know, several people went there and they told me, oh, you don't want to go to the Pride Parade? And I said, no, first of all, I don't want to be pride. Yeah, I'm not want to walk in the spirit of pride. Second, I'm not supporting this huge homosexual boom and with the half naked dancing. No, it's just not. And the problem is people judge you for it in a bad way. They say that you're not open and that you're not. But honestly, I don't feel that this is in God's that God. No, not at all. So anyways, I just drove out into the nature during there was this Pride Parade, and I was praying, and I was fasting. I even went on an almost 24 hours dry fast, and yeah. And I just prayed, you know, and I just prayed against the demon of lust and against the demon of homosexuality, and I basically prayed to God to deliver me from this kind of like over sexually stimulated environment. I just prayed for deliverance because I just don't want it anymore. I'm just so tired of this worldly temptation stuff, and so I was really, it was like so on my heart, and I was just like humbling myself in like this flattery clothes, and like fasting, going out into the dirt, laying on the ground in the nature. I was just so tired of it. I was begging God, you know, to do something, and the interesting thing is, and then a couple of days later, I mean, I felt it was so interesting because when I drove back from that place, I mean, there was a huge thunderstorm and I was even afraid, you know, and like the sky was going crazy. But then when I drove back home on that, during that weekend, then at some point, back to my apartment, then like I saw like a huge like rainbow in the sky, and it just felt like I kind of renewed my bond with God in an interesting way, in a new way, which I didn't really know before. And a couple of days later, it was so funny. I was laying down just to take a nap, and I felt like I just died in this world. I just died. Something died, you know. It was like, but it was a positive thing. It was I felt like really God lets me die in the lust of the world, if that makes sense. And since then, I'm so resistant to this kind of temptation, you know, because like in the past, I sometimes really, when I felt, okay, somebody is like, you know, trying to do, I mean, you know how it is, and then the person is a little bit like looks at you in a certain way, and you feel like your mind starts, you know, thinking about this kind of stuff, and I got delivered from this, and especially today, you know, like two people where I really feel like they're interested in me, but more in the flesh, I feel, honestly. And they both tried it today, and they looked extremely good, and but for some reason I knew that this was temptation. I just knew it. It was just so obvious. And both tried it in their perfect, in their best appearance you can ever think of, and I'm like, okay, and I just withstood it. If it's so crazy, and I went back home, and I don't even feel like I missed out on something. I'm feeling great. I mean, I'm feeling like they didn't get me. I mean, it's because honestly, I went through this kind of. I just don't want to have this worldly relationship anymore. I want to have a relationship with Jesus Christ, and for me, this worldly lust is just over. It's really true, and I prayed for it to get delivered from it, and God finally did something, and they really attacked my mind. I mean, they really tried with the temptation, because this was the best thing to lure me in, you know. But yeah, now I kind of got delivered from it, it seems, and I mean, it doesn't seem, I mean, it's not okay. So I just want to say one thing: never get too excited about something which you think you have, because in this world, like you can lose it so easily, you know what I'm saying? So just, I know I need to stay sober, and I know I need to stay focused in my mind, and not if they tried to tempt me all around me doing stuff, whatever, I need to stay focused, and I need to stay strong. And sometimes it helps just not to look at it. I mean, this really helps, and to try to, with the mind, staying focused, you know. And I mean, I even felt a little bit heartbroken, if that makes sense. I had like a little dialogue in my mind with the Lord, and I just said, Lord, I mean, I'm even feeling like a little bit heartbroken for these people, because the problem is, some people, they make up their self-confidence if they tempt you and you respond back in a positive way. Then they feel, then it's good for their ego, you know, for their self-esteem, so they for their self-confidence, you know. And so they make up, especially these like worldly people, you know, who are driven by the worldly lust and flesh and stuff. They make up like a huge part of their self-confidence, you know, just by being able to tempt you. And if they fail, they crash. It's really true. They something inside of them crashes, and they think like, oh what is wrong? Oh God. Like, am I not attractive anymore? Am I not young enough? You know, they think these things, you know, so they think something is wrong with them. And it's totally true. Something is wrong with them, because they misidentify themselves with their appearance. And especially one of these people, I I see this person and I feel I was like that in my 20s. I was exactly like that. And so I cannot even say, oh, wow, this is like bad person trying to tempt me. No, I cannot even say that because I was like that in the past too. And I just got delivered from it. And the problem is, can you say something like that? Can you say, hey, I would like to pray for you because I'm seeing that blah, blah, blah. I mean, guys, oh God, this is such an interesting time to be alive, even though it's so hard. But I still do think it's worth it, the path, not walking in the worldly flesh. It's definitely worth it because I do believe that we are in the end times and Satan tries to, of course, lure you in. And with your sexual lust, I mean, this is the easiest thing because you would just respond to it if you are very much dependent on your fleshly desires. And also it's really good to fast, because just to kind of not being addicted also to food. You can get like addicted, to so many physical things like eating, like having sex, like eating chocolate, whatever. Just try to step back sometimes, and try to do a fast or just miss out on a chocolate or just trying to get the control back, that your mind controls your body and not the other way around. Yeah. And so this deliverance, I mean, Lord, I'm so thankful, even though that means if I die in this context in the world, it might mean that I'm totally there for the Lord. Like, let's say my physical vessel here is not being used for reproduction anymore. Maybe one day, maybe I will never get married, okay? But then this is the sacrifice I'm willing to take because the Lord delivered me and now I'm more a spiritual being. But the problem is, if you are a TI and they realize that you are a spiritual being and they cannot tempt you in the flesh anymore, I'm not sure what their next step is gonna be. Whether they will crucify you, I have no clue. It's really true because this is the last thing they could still use. You know what I'm saying? Or one of the essential things they could use to try to manipulate you. And if they see they have no control over your flesh anymore, how will they react? What is their next thing to try to get you? You know what I'm saying? So it's also a little bit scary, but I'm not afraid because I know that I'm protected by Jesus Christ. And I feel and the Lord is there for me like a father, taking care of me, and and so it's totally worth it, I feel. So I'm happy that I gave up on the flesh. And I don't want to say that I encourage people to do that. I mean the thing is you need to make a decision for yourself what you want to do, but for me it was definitely the right decision because I really felt that the dark side really uses this temptation in the flesh for me as a very I don't want to say effective tool because I'm still here. I mean, obviously they didn't get me, but I mean, as I said, maybe this is not for everybody, but for me it's definitely the right thing. And the only problem is it's really, I mean, like your whole mindset is changing, because in the past you would, especially as a woman, you would plan everything based on your fertility, when will I have kids, like when will I do, how long will I work in this position, how long will I be in this place, maybe one day I still want to have kids, tralala, tralala. So you always have these thoughts about like the reproduction and about, okay, this is the way, the humanity works. But I do feel that the Lord selects certain people for just other jobs, and I'm happy to do this other job, and giving up the flesh, But it was not an easy decision, because as I said, I had to give up big part of my false self, of my false ego, what I had built up on looks or on, Okay, I think this was these were the key points I wanted to make here, and I actually didn't even want to do a video today, but it just like came all together. Like especially today when I felt like, okay, first person tries it, then I don't give in, you know, I don't do anything, and then the second person tries it. Oh, and then I just left. I was like, okay, I'm just going out. I'm just going home. But it's so funny. It's just so no. It's oh, guys. Anyways, a very interesting world we live in, and I hope you stay sober. I hope you stay sin free. And if you still have sins, repent, because time is running short, and we have to make sure that we walk on the safe path. I mean, like, yeah. I want you to make it. I want you to walk on a narrow path and stay sober. Try to stay sin free. And if you fall into sin, I mean, we are just human beings. Then repent. You know, try to be strong, because you never know when the gate to the heavens will close. You know what I'm saying? And I really do feel that we are in the end times. So okay. So I hope that you enjoyed my little story, and please comment down below if you're interested to discuss about this topic. And I wish you some blessed days, and as I said, stay safe in the Lord, and yeah, God bless you. Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye.